Live is live.
And you know one thing I do like about him? He'll put his head where other people won't even put their boot.
Yeah. We want people that are going to be competing for that first team spot, exactly. not another Shaqiri.
The way that this brother plays football, when we were linked, I didn't want to comment because I didn't want to smile.
Evening, everyone. Welcome to FDB Sports. This is Cop Talk TV, and today we're going to be talking about Liverpool's 2021 pre-season, particularly the game versus Athletic and Osasuna. I think I'm saying that right.
Osasuna, yeah, Osasuna.
There we go. I'm joined by James from TTM Sports. Do you want to tell us a bit about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. TTM Sports is a podcast, YouTube channel. You pretty much name it, we do it. We interview ex-international footballers, referees, people from within the sporting world. Peter Jury, world famous commentator. And we talk all things football by the fans, for the fans. And that's pretty much where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we like to do as well. We don't want to come across too much. This is, fans' view. So we're going to start with the match versus Athletic. Let's have a look at the lineup. Quite exciting game. It felt more like a Premier League game. I don't think they went too easy.
No,
so yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, I could have went to that game, and I'm looking back now thinking I should have went because bar Elliott, which we'll talk about no doubt in a bit. That to me, that's a pretty much first 11. You could argue, couldn't you? That was a very, very, very strong team that Klopp put out there.
It really, really was, and everybody was playing like I said, as if it was a Premier League game. So obviously we had Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson at the back, Milner, Keita, Elliott, Mane, Salah, Jota. So let's start with the defence. Alisson.
Look calm, but sure. There was one goal kick that was he played it safe, I believe, and in the first half where he should have lumped it up pitch, but he played it out towards the left back. If you remember, it was a bit of nervous tension around Anfield when that happens. He does have that in locker a bit, Alisson, but for me, still the best goalkeeper in the world. The guy's an absolute legend, and long may that continue, really, in playing well.
Yeah, I mean, his passes that he puts out pretty much pinpoint usually when he puts them out. But yeah, he has had that mistake sometimes, but playing out from the back, I mean, that can happen. He made a couple of really good saves. Yeah, perfectly happy with him. He looks ready to go.
Yeah, Inaki Williams tried to take it round him, and Inaki struggled to get the shot off, and Alisson by that time got back up and saved it. It reminded me of when we played Newcastle in the Premier League last season at home, where Alisson had come out, cleared it towards the middle of our own half, and we were straight back on the back. We're thinking we're going to concede here, and he managed to get back up and claw away a pinpoint, point blank shot, should I say. So I what can you say about Alisson Becker? Maybe one goalkeeper in world football better than him at playing the ball out would be Edison. But for shot stopping and command, it's him all the way. Alisson, surely.
Yeah. And he's a catcher, not just punching it out. That's what I like. He's a catcher. Okay. Let's start with Trent. So he's had a really long break. I think the first 3 pre-season games, he seemed a little bit, didn't really see a lot of him, but I'd say Sunday's game, his passes were back, typical Trent passes, pinpoint into the box, the type of passes that, any front forward would love to have. Even had a shot on goal. The goalkeeper kind of made a bit of a extra of it, trying to get a bit of attention. But, it was a nice curling shot from outside the box, which is lovely to see.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that he missed out for England would have hurt him personally. He did have an injury, let's not forget. It was enough to rule him out of those Euros. But to be fair, as a Liverpool fan, you've got to be thinking, well, he's well rested. He was coming back into form at the end of the season after missing out with the England squad in February, March time, and there was a lot of questions raised about Trent. To be fair, I thought Sunday, not just him, but the entire team, it looked like a Premier League. It felt like a Premier League game, and it felt like watching Liverpool 18 months ago. It felt great. We looked good, but then again, we have to remember it is a preseason friendly and we can't get too carried away. But Trent, balls over the top, balls out to Salah. The link up was exceptional. The big switch was always on out to the left as well. Calm, assured. He's got to be up there with the best right backs, especially for his age, in world football, in my opinion.
And
Not
also,
a bad start.
Yeah, he does get criticised for his defending, but he made some great track back in, some great blocks. So I'm not worried about that at all. I think it's kind of a stigma that's attached. But yeah, I'm happy with him. Okay, let's move on to Matip. So he's had his fair share of injuries.
Yeah.
But again, you know, there's 4 that can be, I believe now, starting. I'm not too worried about him. He looks stronger. He's had a nice rest as well. He's had a full pre-season. I think him and Milner have had the most minutes this pre-season. And they've not struggled.
No, I think with Matip, the last time he played consistently for Liverpool, he took us to a Champions League final next to Virgil van Dijk. The guy is a really good player. I think long term, you've got to be looking at, it'll be for me, would be our 4th choice. And that might immediately get a couple of people thinking, what you're playing at, James, 4th choice. Well, long term, you've got to be thinking Kanate will come through. And if Gomez stays clear of injury, it's out of those 2 to partner Van Dijk. But for now, Matip is a steady, strong, reliable, well-liked member of the team for chemistry that Saint was talking about on the last show. He's absolutely critical. Now Lovren's gone, he's very important. But no, I think to start the season, I'll be happy to see him next to Van Dijk or Kanate. I don't think Gomez is ready, so that's one I think we can rule out to start the season. It's 2 of the 3 that we've just aforementioned. Yeah,
definitely. And like you said, he brings the spirits up. He's always up for a laugh. I know Virgil thinks he's a great guy. So there's a lot of chemistry there. And at the end of the day, having this competition for them is a good thing. I think they all thrive off of that. Yeah, I fully think he's had a full pre-season. I'm not too worried. Okay, so moving on to Virgil now. So we've got a comment here from Mr. B, one of my favourite panellists from the Man United Agenda, which is FTV Sports Man U channel. How long do you think is going to take for VVD to get back to full speed? And do you think the team will miss him while he's on his way? Also, do you think Klopp will pick his games or throw him straight in? So I'm just going to say quickly, he had 30 minutes, then 40 minutes, and then on Sunday he had 70. He didn't look tired. He didn't panic. I think the only thing that I noticed maybe was he never went full speed, which is understandable. It's a friendly. Don't need to stress yourself too much. But I have no issues with him. I think what we have missed from him has been his long-range passes. They are pinpoint perfect. And the passes he was putting out on Sunday, it just showed his class, just showed why he is, I think, one of the best defenders in the world. So I'm not really worried. I think from yesterday's match, he could start. Maybe Klopp will do some subs at the 70-minute mark, but I'm not too worried about him right now. He's calm, collected. Alisson behind him. We play out from the back. Alisson's great with his feet. So yeah, how did you think he came?
I think he was fine. I think he calmed the back line. We've needed that. It's been so chop and change, a spaghetti mess of just a mismatch of central defensive partnerships for our club, which then unsettled the wing backs, which then unsettled the wingers, which then unsettled the attacking. So it imbalanced the whole team, not through just one player, but those 2 positions. Essentially ruining the balance of the team, both centre-back positions last season. In terms of Virgil van Dijk, I think his hand might be forced with the injury to Robertson, because you've got to think to yourself, okay, Gomez isn't ready. We've established that. He's getting there, but he's not ready. Van Dijk is knocking on the door, but if he wanted to rest him, that means he's got to play Kanate and Matip. Matip plays better on the right of defence because he's got a very good chemistry relationship with Trent. The issue I've got is with Robertson out, Tsimikas or Milner will play at left back. I would say Tsimikas deserves a go. Are you going to put in a brand new young centre back in Kanate next to Tsimikas? Because if he does, he's got some big balls to do that. Or do you take the easy option? Or do you take the easy option with a tricky away match at Carrow Road? It is tricky. It's a match that we should be winning. If we want to win the league, we need to be going to Norwich and winning. Man United will win there.
But
Chelsea will win.
The Prem, they're going to be excited. Fans are going to be there.
I would play Van Dijk, and then I'll take him off late into the game if it's done. And I'll take it's tricky because if he breaks down, he will be accused of all sorts. I mean, let's be honest. Van Dijk was an outside shot for the Euros. So, I think he's good. I think he's good to go. If he puts Kanate in next to Tsimikas, that's some big ball stuff. I'd take it. I'll be a very, very interested spectator if that's the case. So for me, that's why he's paid the big bucks, because if I was on Football Manager, I'd play Van Dijk. If it was in real life, I'll be taking a long, hard look at the situation. Yeah,
definitely.
Very tricky.
And like you said, Robertson.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. I don't think we need to say much. He's always professional, always on point, always gives 100% for the first half when he was on, just does his job. Don't need to worry about that position. However, he did get injured. It looked horrendous, but Klopp came out today and he said he's had a scan. It's ligament injury. And he's expecting him to come back after internationals, which is about 5th of September.
Yeah, I think he'll miss the first few games. He'll probably won't be back straight after international break either. Liverpool always like to potentially downplay injuries, I've always found, especially with the Van Dijk injury. They said, it's a bad one. He's going to be out for a few months, but they didn't allude to the fact it would be all season. Same with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Same with a whole host of injuries. I think, so England play Andorra the 5th. That's Sunday the 5th. You're looking, I would say, a week or two after that to get him back. But I would just look. You got Milner, who we know can slot straight in. Gomez played a season at left back in his first season at the football club. Yeah. And obviously, we've got a ready-made replacement who played well against Osasuna, which was Kostas Tsimikas.
Yeah, definitely going to get onto him in a second as well. I think you're right. We have played it down. I don't think Klopp's going to try and panic everyone by coming out and saying, oh my gosh, awful, it's come back. But I definitely don't think the fact he walked off the pitch as well, I don't think it's as bad as what it is. He's probably had his foot taped up, shin pads and all of that. It is sad, but I know it's probably hurt him more than anyone.
He'll be back. He's not broke his leg, so let's be honest. He's not done a cruciate. He's all right. Yeah.
Tough blood. All right, moving on to midfield then. So we had Milner as defensive midfielder. What can we say about Milner? Milner's just Milner. Professional, classy. Does what you need to do.
Does exactly what it says on the tin. I don't think he'll start. I don't think he'll start, but he can come in and do a job. You could put him up front for half an hour and it's a safe bet. So I think, look, he's a typical squad player, good for the changing room. He's done really well in pre-season, settled a lot of the nerves of the youngsters that have come in, like your Gordons of this world, to try and settle them down and let them flourish. And that's exactly what's happened. Does he start? You never know. You could. I mean, you go with Fabinho, don't you? And it's one of either Keita or the Ox next to Henderson. Well, it's again to start our midfield. You can't really pick anymore because it would have just been Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and then one of. But now there's two spaces available. Could start if we play the occasion. But treat again, Norwich as they are, an average team.
Games, cup games we tend to play younger players, so I think he might use him as captain to calm it all down. And then we had, so he switched it up. So we've usually played with Keita behind Salah and Elliot on the other side. But this game, he swapped them around, which just goes to show neither of them struggled. They still played amazingly. I think they've played brilliantly all pre-season, and it just shows they're versatile. They can play on either wing. I was really impressed with them. Full effort, skills, getting crosses in. So let's start with Kade. I'm not sure.
I think through earlier pre-season, he's looked okay. I thought the match on Sunday, he again was okay. Couple of flashes of brilliance. I want him to do well. I think there's definitely a player in there. Is Liverpool right for Naby Keita is the question. We had a player. When Xabi Alonso left for Real Madrid, Liverpool signed a player from Fiorentina called Alberto Aquilani for £24 million. I'm starting to think that Keita is a better version of Alberto Aquilani. Loads of beautiful little touches, little back heels round the corners, looks good. But when it comes down to the crunch, can you really rely on him? I hope he does well. As I say, there's definitely a player in there. There's an elite player in there. And anybody listening to this who doesn't think Naby Keita doesn't have an elitist style of play and in his locker, you don't know what you're talking about. Of course he does. £50 million suggests that he does to me. But the problem is he's very injury prone. He's exceptionally injury prone. And again, it's reliability. Yeah, he's looked good. Do you know what? I'd give him a solid 7.5 for pre-season. I want to give him an 8 because of his injury, history for Liverpool. But let's be honest, if Oxlade-Chamberlain had played exactly how Keita's played in pre-season, would we be saying Oxlade-Chamberlain looks incredible, he looks really good? No, I think just because it's Keita and he's played a few games in a row, a lot of the Liverpool fans at the moment are saying he looks fantastic. He looks really, really good. But for me, on form, Naby Keita, miles away. He's in the class up there with Bruno Fernandes. For me, is a fraud. So I think he'd be in the he'd be in the class of Thiago and big players like that, because they are big players. And there's he's just injury prone, and that's the problem with Keita.
Considering he has been injured so much, I mean, I wouldn't want to rely on him. I still want to get a midfielder in. Him and Ox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't rely on them. Elliot and Curtis, they're still young. We can't rely on them either. However, considering he has been injured for so long, he has still kind of got that in his locker. I think he's worked really hard. He's played a lot this preseason. A lot of people I've really enjoyed watching him play. He links up well. Obviously, him and Mane have a bond. They're buddies. So they play really well. But again, injury prone. So I'm just going to go to, we've got a couple of messages a minute. So this is Errol from the Man United Agenda, Solo 7. Good evening. Like, subscribe, share, everybody. What's this one? Errol. James Milner should not be starting for Liverpool. He should be grateful if he plays 3 games in the Premier League this season. I mean, I don't see him starting, but obviously, it's Champions League Cup games. There will be AFCON at some point. Although I think I heard somewhere there's only 2 Premier League games that they're going to miss for AFCON. So there's been a lot of talk about it. But I'll have to look into that. But I did hear somewhere. But Errol, watch him in pre-season. He's played, again, the most minutes out of everybody. He's just pure class. He's reliable. Who's this? Mr. B, Man United Agenda, Satan Beard. Keita so injury prone. Yeah, I mean, we know that. Fred is better than him. Fred is a fake Brazilian.
I'm sorry. Fred's a different player altogether. Fred's a defensive midfield player. If anything, he's done well to come back from the depths, but he's losing his place to McTominay on the reg. A lot of Man United fans are frustrating me at the moment. They talk about Liverpool moaning about our injury issues at the back last season. Okay, then. So would Manchester United have finished in the top 3 if you had McTominay and Twanzebe at centre back for 17 games last season? Answer me that question. And I think the question and the answer that you're looking for is no chance. This season they'll do better because they've spent. They wouldn't. Twanzebe and McTominay is the equivalent of having Reece Williams and Fabinho at the back. And that's the reality of the situation. Anybody with half a brain cell who follows the football game knows and understands that. It's just Man United fans that seem to believe that it was just Liverpool were poor. No, I think there's a lot more that goes into it than that.
They know that.
You know,
they just were enjoying the downfall. But
is
yeah,
it a downfall though? Third place with all of that?
They still only won one more game than us, and I don't think, you know, the points that they got.
And that's what they say. He bit, and I see in the comments at the bottom, he bit. It's rubbish. I'm just stating facts, and the fact of the matter is you don't like the fact that I've been able to come back with a legitimate, bona fide answer that's truthful, and it hurts. So what they do is they get these little fishing hooks and put them out. But joke's on you, buddy.
I know. This is One Touch TV. So he's English Nigerian man. He's from our Arsenal channel, the Armory TV. So you need to find them as well. Kade is a good player, just made of glass. Yeah, like we said, can't rely on him. I'd like to. Mr. B, is Guy Bruno a fraud? Well, we'll see. We'll see. He's just fishing. Just ignore him. They like a bit of banter. So
there you can take one dynamite. Exactly. And that just answers the question right there. One Touch TV, you know your stuff.
Yeah. And it's Mr. B, calm down. We're very calm. Very
much looking forward to this season. Very, very much so.
So much. I'm just enjoying them getting hyper, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah, fans will be outside the stadium next week with about 150 fans saying, you know, so what have they done? Responded by spending over 160 million pounds, and they're still not happy. What?
Yeah.
Go down to Burnley. See how much they're spending.
Patience. Okay, moving on. So the next midfielder was Elliot, star of pre-season. I think he's still very young. We can't rely on him. So he's going to want minutes. I'm not sure how many minutes he's going to get. I'm not saying that he is Phil Foden, but it's kind of similar to that situation with Man City where Foden wanted minutes. He had David Silva ahead of him. He had to fight for that and be patient. I think Elliot's going to need to do the same. He said in his interviews he doesn't care where he plays. He'll play anywhere. He's just glad to be on the pitch in the shirt. On Sunday's game, he was the last to leave the pitch. He was soaking it all in, gave his boots to one of the fans. I think he is genuinely just happy to be there. I think his loan was one of the best things that we did for him. He's got a great first touch, natural intelligence. He plays with his head up, which is quite mature for his age. He's got that natural intelligence where he can see, you know, 2 passes ahead of what he's doing. He doesn't need to take a few touches and look around. It's one touch, pass it on. Some of his shots hit the crossbar on the corner. That was good. Great with his feet. But again, he's still young. This is pre-season, and we can't rely on him.
I'll break down Harvey Elliott for you.
Yeah, you go.
Man City treated Foden the right way. They treated him like a precious young player coming through. The first season, gets games and fits and starts. Second season, he came out, and his crowning off coming out party was at Anfield when he scored a wonderful goal on the City right wing into the top right-hand corner of our goal. Now, he's played a couple of good games in pre-season. Yes, Sunday he was outstanding. He was exceptional. He was wonderful, in fact. Yeah. However, a lot of Liverpool fans, not saying yourself or myself, but a lot of Liverpool fans looking across Twitter saying, "Oh my God, it's Jesus. It's the second coming of God." Just chill out. Like
the way he plays is exciting, but yeah, again, it's pre-season. He's very young. I know.
And I think for us as Liverpool fans, you keep him around the squad. You play him in the Carling Cup, play him in the FA Cup. In fact, you know, against small teams like Man United and Tottenham. And basically for us, I would be in all seriousness now, though. In all seriousness, keep him around the first team and treat him how Man City treated Phil Foden. Bring him into the squad and see what he can do. He did look good. He did look very, very good indeed. I was quite surprised because in the previous show I jumped on with yourselves and Saint and the rest of the guys. I said that him playing in that position is outrageous as a central midfielder. Well, you know, he got a zip, attached it to the side of my lip and zipped it up. He was excellent. So absolutely. In terms of him and
ideally, he's looking at Salah's spot, isn't he?
Well, he's more exciting than Curtis Jones, in my opinion. He's more exciting than him.
Yeah,
Curtis
definitely.
Jones is a stable, steady Eddie, good player. Lallana replacement long term for me, but I think Harvey Elliott is just one for the future. Just let's manage him right. You got a choice: send him back out on loan to have another season. I don't really feel like we want to get into that rhythm of Gruitch and Wilson. Get him in and around the squad and give him some minutes. And you never know, we could be happy with him.
Yeah. I think he'll benefit from being around, these star class players, Salah, Mane, all these players. He's learning and he's only got to look at Trent to see if he puts the hard work in, stays professional, that these young players can break into this first team. But again, I don't see him starting games. I see him, getting subbed on if we're comfortably winning. But yeah, I'm enjoying him. Cup games, I think that's going to be his bread and butter, where he's going to get his chances. But I don't think he's going to complain. He's just going to enjoy being there and being around and getting any minutes when he can.
Yeah, I think just let's see what he's got. He's got the talent. There's no doubt about it. It looks as if he's got the right mental mindset. It's all well and good having all the talent in the world, but if you don't transfer that into hard work, commitment, and graft, you're not going to achieve absolutely anything. You'll have another, I don't know, maybe at Arsenal Oatsill, all the talent in the world. I felt so sorry for their fans paying that amount of money for that player. It's such a shame. And, you've got to have the attitude, something that Bruno Fernandes doesn't have. Amongst other things, not many goals from open play either.
Hardly any. I think if they'd have let
Rashford, he's world class.
Rashford would have been golden boot.
Well, you go back to this, very, very quickly. You go back just the last little bit on Bruno Fernandes when I can still hear his scream now coming across the hills down into the south of the country. But there's a reason why he was dropped by Portugal for the final 3 games of their tournament. He was dropped. Yeah. And I think he's got a poor attitude. I'd rather play Paul Pogba over him every single day of the week. No,
definitely. I think when things aren't going his way, he feels like he just kind of gives up. I don't think he's necessarily team player yet. He cries a lot to the ref. I don't. He really dodged a bullet
by not signing him. I'm pleased he chose Man United over us, because that's the fact. He did. He said, obviously he chose them. He thinks they're a bigger club than Liverpool, and commercially they probably are. But historically, we're right there with them, and there's nothing any Man United fan will ever say to deter that.
Yeah, I mean, if a decision doesn't go your way, don't cry and look down hard about it. Just get up, get on with it, which I don't think
absolutely.
Anyway, so Sunday's game, the front 3, we had Salah, Jota, and Mane. So the Jota goal, it was an error from the team, but like Klopp said, we've put those defenders under pressure all game. It's made them nervous. We've been confident. They were nervous. They've made an error. Keita, won the ball back, straight into Mane, straight into Jota, goal. Personally, I love Jota. I really do. He was injured a lot. I don't know what his history is with injuries. A lot of people say, is he going to play Mane or Jota? But a lot of some of the games when he wasn't injured, he played all of them. So we had Mane, Bobby, Salah, and Jota.
Well, if you're Bobby Firmino, you're looking over your shoulder, aren't you?
Well, we'll get on to him in a minute, because yesterday's game, he was, Bobby Dazzler. Again, I'm going to say Mane is back. I said it in the last show. I'm going to say it again. He has been energetic. He's well rested now. I don't care what anyone says. I'm saying it. He's back. He's eager. He's keen. He's ready. The way he's linking up with Keita, him and Salah running down the wings. They're just, people keep saying they're old. They don't look old. They don't play like they're old. I'm not worried about these guys at all this season.
No, not at all. They're, 4 players that can now interchange. Jota was absolutely perfect signing as far as I was concerned. Before he came in, you were looking at Origi, Shaqiri, Brewster, people like that. Highly praised Brewster in the England under-21s, and obviously is their world's final. He's supposed to be a world-class player, judging on the logic. But the reality is he was awful. You might sound, harsh and things like that, but this is truth. do you know, I've talked to the back teeth about particular players and stuff like this, but for Liverpool to go out and sign a world-class attacker is very, very difficult, because it's going to be very hard for them to break into that. How do you approach someone like a Chiesa of Italy, who's just won the Euros, and say, yeah, come and play for Liverpool. We've got the transfer fee. We'll give you the money, but we can't guarantee that you play every week because we've got Mane, Firmino, Jota, Salah. It's really tough. Yeah. So I'm just happy while we've got them, all three of them, four in fact, but while especially Salah and Mane, while we've got them at the club, let's just enjoy them. We look good, fluid, happy. I'm looking forward to the season. This season I'm quietly confident. Last season I was very open and said we'll win the league, and then down at Christmas, top of the league again. I was thinking, yeah, it's done, no one can touch us. And then obviously madness ensued from there. It could always be worse. You could always support a plastic club. So.
yeah I'm just going to go to some comments quickly, but I will say I am enjoying seeing those Salah and Mane. I think they look well rested. Obviously our defense was a mess. They weren't getting as much help. We weren't playing as high up the pitch as they liked. So they were getting tired. I think that's fine. Right, let's just go back to some comments again. I'm getting told off now. Nigerian Englishman, not no. I'm so sorry, Nigel. I'm so sorry. I will get it right next time. Another comment. You guys need to Renato Sanchez. Oh. So we're not going to talk about transfers in this show. We're going to talk about that on Thursday night. So tune in Thursday, Cop Talk, 9:30 p.m. We are going to be discussing transfers. I mean, it might be a 5-minute show. But yeah, this is our issues. Oh, now this pre-season. Yeah, it is pre-season, mate. I haven't taken the mick out of you too much with your Arsenal lot. What's this kid's best position? Jones is your best youngster. He's better than them. This season is about Jones. So I think that's in regards to Elliot. So
Wasn't
I think
that last season about Jones, because he come in after Lallana left? I think. Look again. Jones has done well. He's a different player to Kurt. He's a different player to the young Elliot. He's a young. Yeah. I think he's a slightly different player. Anyway. Horses for courses. You can either you speak to 50% of people, they'll say Curtis Jones. You speak to 50% of people, they'll say Harvey Elliott. For me, I prefer Elliott. That's just my personal. But football is a game of opinions, and that's why we love it.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have that competition within the squad. But again, they won't be in. I think he would love to be in Salah's position, and quite often that the way we play, everyone kind of flows around. He was enjoying coming down the wing, getting some crosses and some shots in, closing players down, doing defending. Like I said, he doesn't care where he plays. He just helps out.
It's a good point that's been made about One Touch TV. We were talking about the central midfield conundrum. We didn't even mention Curtis Jones. Well, I didn't. And you know what? To be fair, he's got a point. Klopp trusts him now. He played in a very difficult moment for the club last season. Again, any other club that has 17 different centre-back partnerships and still finishes third, come back to me. I'll wait. But the reality is,
and I think this is where he's proved himself. This is where we're going to say, okay, let's see what you can do this season. But we'll get onto him because he was in the second match. A few more comments quickly. I'm an Arsenal fan and I enjoyed Mesut Ozil. Your words are harsh. I blame Arsenal for Ozil's lack of consistency. They never built the team to his strength like they should have. I think a lot of
agree with that.
We had this issue finding a good manager that fits your team and your players. Well, it's hard when you're looking for them.
Yeah, you look at Arsenal and you go, so wasn't it that Unai Emery was hounded out of the football club, boring manager, the players couldn't understand him, etc. They didn't like him, and two of my best friends are Arsenal fans. I hear it all the time. I once told them that Rob Holding isn't good enough to play for Arsenal. It's not good enough, but they weren't having it. They're saying he's potentially a great defender. I'm not having it. But what I will say is just because it's Mikel Arteta, there's a couple of points better off than Emery. But just because it's Mikel Arteta, they're saying he's doing a good job. For me, I tipped Arsenal on the radio show you did with me the other night. I tipped Arsenal. I said, there's no excuses this season. No excuses for that football club at all. You've spent money on Partey. You have spent money on Ben White. You've got a very, very good squad. They should be finishing in the top 6. They should definitely. And for any Arsenal fan going, this guy's off his head, he don't know what he's talking about. You've got no European football.
Yeah, they have to get.
You've got to come into the party now. If they don't,
they need European football as well, because they're going to struggle next transfer window if they don't get European football again. And we're not talking about the ECL that Spurs are in, because let's not even get into that.
Well, that's a non-trophy, isn't it? That's another fact. But for me, Arsenal, through the history of English football, Arsenal have always been a top-flight club. Always. Never been relegated. A staple of English football. Top 12 club. You know, back end of the 90s, through the early... I mean, when was the last time they won the league?
Top
Arsenal.
3, wasn't
2003, 4?
Nigerian Englishman, let us know. I think it's 2004.
There you go. I mean, in terms of the Ozil comment,
and no European trophies as well.
In terms of the Ozil comment, very good, world-class player, but you do have an argument to say that they didn't build the team around him. Absolutely, you do. However,
and then they get
when they played at Anfield, didn't they? We beat them 5-1. We beat when Salah broke through in his debut season and scored. And I remember looking at Ozil and Gary Neville, they were going crazy. So look, he's not tracking back. He's not trying. He wasn't trying. 300, 400,000 pounds a week.
With management, not building it around him, you know, that is going to happen. Anyway, the blonde guy from that one time, welcome. Haven't seen you on here before. So he said, if fit and played in the right position throughout the season, Thiago will run the Premier League next season. So, yeah, we'll get onto him in the second game. We'll move on to that in the second game. I see where you're coming from. I really do, especially with Fabinho back in his usual position. It opens him up. He's definitely, you know, going to be a playmaker. Again, can we rely on him? Injury prone. We seem to have a few of those in midfield at the moment. He's back again, Nigel. Curtis Jones over Elliott all day. Don't underestimate Jones. He's a baller. All the England under-20 sing his praises. He just needs to take the handbrake off. I love Curtis Jones, and I've said in two shows ago, I said I think this is going to be his season. I have said that. I hope so. Believe. Mr. B, rent-free. Always. I
don't know. But aren't we the landlords?
I love talking about Man U. I really do. Adam, it was a pleasure watching Liverpool last season. 5 points behind you. You had the best season of your life. We had the worst in a very, very long time. Mr. B, banter aside, this season's going to be one of the best big four pre-season. I think definitely, not in this order necessarily, Man City, Chelsea, Man U, Liverpool, not necessarily in that order. We'll have to see how it goes. Injuries, COVID. There's still time for transfers.
He's right. It's a good comment. It's going to be one of the best. You know, it is. It's going. I don't think it's as cut and dry as a City victory as what people are make out. Man United, well, you could toss a coin at how they're going to perform. Liverpool, again, you would say would be up there, and same with Chelsea.
Look at Man City in the cup game, losing to Leicester.
Yeah, I don't take that seriously. The Charity Shield. No. You look at those two lineups. Who did they have? They had someone called. I don't even know his name anymore, to be honest with you. But you know, I think as far as I'm concerned, the match I'm looking forward to is playing Manchester United. I'm really looking forward to playing Man United, and to see, obviously, as they're such a big club and are well ahead of us, as their fans are saying they are. I'll be keen to test ourselves to see where we are.
I mean, this is a Premier League. This is why it's the best league ever. You know, you can go away to Spurs, win 6-0, and then you can play Norwich and lose 3-0. You just don't know. You just don't know. I love this. I love this league. 2004. Yeah, it was.
That's 17 years ago.
Invincible with 12 draws. I'd rather win with 99 points and lose one game than be invincible.
Anyway. Do you know what? Yeah, 50-50. If anybody wants to see what the best Premier League teams are, go to TTM Sports. We do have a podcast that we did on that, Gems, which was the top 10 Premier League teams of all time ranked, where we discuss in depth all of those teams. Lots of good opinions on that. But Invincibles are good. 17 years ago, they last won the league. Let me take you back, all the listeners out there listening to this show. Liverpool fans were subjected to abuse, to banter of an extreme and undeterred and unnatural manner from around this time. from around it was about 17, 18, 19, 20 years. Will Arsenal get the same treatment? I'll leave that with you.
And I mean, you look at it. I mean, it was a very different era then. Anyway, sure you would. I can't remember what you're saying that to now. It was very different style of football then, but nobody was getting 80 points and over. I could be wrong, but it was very
United
rare.
92. Manchester United got 92 in the first inception of the Premier League, I believe, or the second season.
Okay, it wasn't often though, and
No,
invincible, right. Amazing, 12 draws. It kind of makes it sound better than what it is. Anyway,
and Pires dived against Portsmouth. Never forget, Pires dived against Portsmouth. He never touched him. But the record books say, undefeated. Reality is he dived against Portsmouth and Arsenal equalised and got a draw. Never, ever forget.
I think we'll go on the Armoury TV show and we'll have a discussion about that at some point. Okay. Second game. I mean, you looked at the first game and you thought, right, this is going to be the top game. You look at this game, this is a mixture. I think both games were kind of a mixture of first team bench and youth players. This game was exciting. This game was fast paced, shots everywhere. I really enjoyed this game. Again, it was high energy. It felt like a cup final game, the way people were playing in this game. So again, let's start with the defense. Kelleher.
Standard, did exactly the job. I think he's overtaken Adrian as the number 2 for Liverpool. No doubt. You did. Yeah, I think he's good. I think he's a good goalkeeper. He's not Alisson.
No.
But
he's still young. How old is Kelleher?
I think he's around 2022. He's Karius has got to leave the club. He's just got to go.
Play any games, did he? Or any minutes?
No, I just think for him, it just counts his contract. I think the Champions League final done him mentally, unfortunately, because I was a big fan of him. Incredible hair.
Might be a Phil Jones situation. No one wants to buy him.
No, exactly. Well, Phil Jones as a youngster was actually highly rated.
Yeah, he was very. Kelleher, confident. That's what I like with him. He never looks worried, never looks scared. He likes to catch the ball, not punch the ball out. But he's not afraid to just run out and grab the ball. So at the back, we had Nico, Kanate, Gomez, and Tsimikas. Nico, what's your thoughts on him?
I don't think he's good enough. I'm sorry. He's been in and around the first team now for 3 years. Yes, he's an international for Wales, but Christ, so was so who played for, so was Joe Allen. So as far as I'm concerned, I literally don't believe he's good enough. I think for the good of his career, right? He's great attitude. He needs to move on. But you'll keep him because he's a homegrown player, and we'll keep him for the quota. You never know. He's still young enough to make it work, but he's just been steady at best. I've not been blown away with the quality of Nico Williams as far as I'm concerned. I think he's it's just unfortunate that you've got Trent ahead of you, who's only a couple of years older than you. I don't think he's top dollar at all.
I think we need to replace Nico. Definitely, we need to.
Let's get real. Let's stop padding it up like they do on the other shows and say, "Yeah, he's one for the future." Though you got to give him time. You got to give him a chance. We give him time. He ain't good enough.
I know he's not. It's hard to break in because Trent's Trent, top player, rarely misses a game. But if he does get injured, we're gonna struggle. We'll struggle in that position. I think we need to upgrade that position just for us to feel okay. It's not going to be awful.
Absolutely, it could be worse. You could have, Bellerin or Cedric. So, it could be worse. Considering the comments that I'm supposedly now anti-Arsenal, which isn't the case. I was just stating a fact that Pires dived.
Oh no, he's a lovely guy. Honestly,
I've got no doubt he is, and I wish him the best of luck.
Like we said, Gomez. Very versatile. He can play that position if needed. So if Nico, if he was injured, I'm pretty sure he could fill in for however long that needs. Did I say Nico? I meant Trent. Okay, Kanate.
I think he's been okay. I think he's been quite steady. I think he's looked quite safe. He's not really made any mistakes. I think he's just getting used to how we play, our style. £35 million, I think's probably about right. Actually, I think he's big. He's big. He looks very as a frame. He looks big.
That's what a lot of people are saying, because obviously, you know, you look at him and you think, geez, he's not just tall, it's bulk.
He's big, yeah.
But his pace, he can turn on the ball. He plays the way we play when he's in the centre back role. Just fits in with our style of play.
Do you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a young Kolo Toure. Toure probably wasn't built as big as him, but he was very, very comfortable, strong, athletic, good player. He's good. I like Kanate. I wouldn't have an issue with him starting alongside Van Dijk. Not
at all. Not at all. What I like about him, he's very similar to Virgil in the sense he doesn't mind going out forward. If he can see that there's pressure coming on the midfield, he doesn't mind to just run out and just get the ball, do some tackles. Also, like Virgil, his long range passing
looks good.
Pretty spot on. He almost got a few assists with his long range passing.
Putting Minamino through, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm happy with him. Good signing. That's, you know, Kanate, Matip, Gomez, and Virgil. That's a nice back forward to
have.
Then
under that as well, Reece Williams, Billy Kumatio, Nat Phillips still at the moment, even Ben Davis. I don't even know why he signed the contract. I would have been better off there.
So he was injured, wasn't he, Ben Davis? Yep. I think we are trying to sell him. I think he played yesterday for 20 minutes. I think when Gomez and Kanate came off, we brought on Phillips and Davis.
It's a shame with him because apparently going around the leagues, he was actually highly rated and highly sought after as one of the leading defenders in the championship. I think it'd be a good pickup for an average team like Newcastle or you know a bigger Scottish team, for instance, would benefit.
Yeah. Arsenal, you know. I'm joking.
Ben White's good. Ben White's good. A lot of people, my two best friends are, apart from James, my two other best friends are Arsenal fans, and they're saying this is a waste of money, 50 million. I think you know what you're talking about. This guy's a serious player. Plays for it. He's in England squad. He played for Leeds a couple of seasons ago. Was fantastic. He went back to Brighton. He's been solid, dependable in a struggling Brighton team in the Premier League that doesn't concede many goals. I think that's one of the signings of the summer potentially. He's He's a good player, Ben White. Good player.
I mean, English players, you're always going to have to pay more. But I think it makes a change for Arsenal to just think, right, we want that player. Let's go out and let's buy him. Done. Not fuck around and try and pay 49 million and 1p.
Yeah, I know. I mean, wow.
Let's just go to a comment here from, here's Nige back again. We're just going to do this. Stop shitting on Invincible. Every team gets lucky, but apparently not enough to go unbeaten. Strange that, but yeah. Anyway, we'll come on your show, mate. We'll come on your show.
Yeah, invite me on. I have no issue with Arsenal. I'm just saying that one of the biggest travesties in football history was that Pires dive, and you know, but you're undefeated, and no one can ever take it away.
Yeah. Okay, the blonde guy from that one time. A long-term injury to Fabinho will affect us worse than Virgil van Dijk and Gomez if we don't bring in the right cover. I mean, Fab, he did miss a few games last season. I think that was because the pressure was on. He had to go as centre-back, and that messed us up. I totally agree. I think he is one of our most important players. The role he plays, it allows us to play the way we play. You know, he provides that cover for the wings to fly down. I'm a huge fan of Fab.
I rate him because he's part of the spine. Alisson, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Firmino is the spine. Take one of the spine out, you're in trouble. And that's cool. The blonde guy from that one time, is that right? He's right in what he's saying. He's absolutely right in what he's saying. I agree with him. Fabinho is he's a link. He's an important cog in the machine. He's an excellent player. Wonderful player, in fact. I think that's one of the best pieces of businesses that FSG have done for the football club.
Oh my God. I think that is our top recent signing that we've done. And I think I haven't heard any other fan from any other fan base. They can't deny his quality. I think any other team would love a Fabinho. He almost provides, almost like we've got 3 centre backs, you know.
He's perfect for the system, like Firmino is up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get back to Gomez. I think he was strong. He played 70 minutes. Again, he said he loves having competition within the squad. He had an interview after the game and they kind of asked him, you know, there's Matip, Kanate, Virgil Gomez. And he said, again, he's just happy to be in the squad. He said he loves the competition. They all do. And it just pushes them to keep trying and be better. He's so comfortable on the ball. I think there was a few times when he, you know, looking on, you think, oh, gosh, he's playing it in our box too close. Like, he needs to rush it and get it out. But he doesn't rush, calm, collected, quite happy with what I've seen. And again, if needed, he can play on the wing. I'm not sure if he's going to start any games. I think there was a situation before where he was starting with Virgil, and then he got injured. Matip was brought in to cover. Matip played so well, he lost his spot. And he then had to try and fight for his spot again over Matip, which is what I love about our team. No particular areas are given.
No, not unless you're Mo Salah. Everyone else, Alisson and Salah, I'd probably say you two cement them in steel, if you like, to get in. But
in form, and we had someone else that was competing for that. I don't think Klopp would even have an issue saying, right, they're playing better than you in training. You're not hitting the marks that you should be. I don't think Klopp would have an issue in that. I think we have a healthy in-house competition where the whole team feel part of the squad.
In terms of Gomez, when he's fit, he plays for England. When he's fit and firing and on form, it's going to be between him and Kanate, the partner Van Dijk. As I said earlier, if Gomez, it's all if some but shoulda, woulda, coulda. If he didn't have the injury problems that he's had, he would be next to Virgil van Dijk, no questions asked, in the team every week. However, we've now got a man mounted in Kanate to challenge him, which might spur him on a bit more, which is very, very exciting. The whole league's exciting this season. I can't wait. It's going to be very, very, very good.
I mean, Kanate's only 22. We need to remember that. I don't think he was bringing to necessarily start. I think he's bringing his cover. I think he's going to be Virgil's kind of apprentice in some ways. I think the one issue I've had with Gomez before is he can give away free kicks. He does get a bit frustrated when things aren't going his way. But yeah, okay, let's move on to Tsimikas. So he's going to have to play now.
I've no problem with him playing. Tottenham fan James always saying, "Oh yeah, but he's not played at all. He hasn't made any appearances." Oh, I'm not surprised. Andy Robertson's fitter than fitter than an Olympic athlete, and obviously Tsimikas had injury issues. I've got no problem. I'm very quietly confident that this guy can go out and do a job for us. I really do. No, Alberto Moreno is he. He's a good player, Kostas Tsimikas, and I'm looking forward to him playing. I think he's very, very good, actually.
Yeah. So he's got
comfortable
assist for Bobby. I think Bobby enjoyed his crosses coming in. He plays very similar to Robertson. High energy, defense. Is he as reliable? I think so in some ways, but I think he still hasn't got necessarily that natural.
I think Robertson's more of your grit, warrior, determination, whereas Tsimikas is more cultured. That's a professional way of putting it, I would say. I would play Robertson over him every day of the week. Yeah. However, when you look at the left side deputy to the right side of deputy, absolute night and day between Nico Williams and Tsimikas. If you see what I'm saying, I think Tsimikas, I feel a lot more comfortable. It's all dependent on the selection alongside him that we discussed earlier in the show.
Yeah, I mean,
He'll play Milner now, won't he?
He's been one of the star players for pre-season, along with Elliot. Him and Elliot have shocked everybody. He was 4 million, wasn't he?
I think it was about £4 to £6 million. He played a major player in the Olympiacos team that did so well in Europe 2 seasons ago, going away to the Emirates. If Arsenal, if One Touch can remember that, Jimmick Olympiacos team ran riot in London that night. That's no, anti-Arsenal in any way. It's just a fact. He played really well. And then he did the same to Wolves. And then he did the same to Wolves as well. So when we signed him, I was really happy at that. I think that was a really, really good signing. It was either him or Tavares that we're interested in, and he's gone to Arsenal. Now, if Kieran, just a very quick one off topic, if Kieran Tierney still gets injured, that Tavares is a big player. Very, very, very good player for the future. There's an insider tip for you. Tavares of Arsenal to have a very good season.
Is he young? I don't know.
Good player. Come from Portugal. Very, very good player. He's about 17 to 20, I believe. Very young. Very, very good. I really rate him. I wanted us to sign him.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are going to be shocked by Tsimikas. He's obviously going to have to play until Robbo's back. I'm not worried about it. I've seen him in pre-season. I know it's only pre-season, but I'm not concerned. Right, let's move on to the midfield. Ox, Fab, and Curtis Jones. Curtis got injured in the first half. He's had to come off. Not sure what's going on with that. Have you heard any updates on that?
No, I think his pre-season's been disjointed, if anything. I think the progression slope has been slightly stuttering recently. It might just be where he's so young. His body's changing. He's getting used to a different way of living, a different way of eating in the gyms, playing regularly. His body's changing. He's a young man. And Michael Owen had the same issues. Even Gerrard had the same issues. And as you're growing up and getting bigger, didn't happen to me, but it's obviously happening to him, really. So look, I've got no worries. I don't think the injury is very bad at all. I just don't think he'll start the season for us. I think he may be on the bench or around in and around the squad. In terms of Fabinho, very quickly we touched on him. He's just been, he's just Fabinho. He's fab. No two ways about it. And then the Ox, I think he's looked quite sharp. Oxlade-Chamberlain. But then again, he always does. So,
he's done what he said he was going to do, get some shots in from long range, very close. I have to say, I think having Ox, Curtis and Bobby, those three, the defenders were really nervous because they didn't know who was going to press forward at what time. They can all press and they can all go deep. I think having that, who do we go for? Who's going to come forward? Because they just never know. I think that works.
I've got no idea. I've got no idea who he's going to select. If it was me, English Premier League season, fans back in, I'd probably, do you know what? I'll probably go with Fabinho and Milner for stability and sturdiness, and then maybe a flair one in there, such as maybe Keita. I'd go with Keita or Ox. Thiago's not ready. I'd probably put Henderson's clearly not ready. You would go with Milner, Fabinho, and then one of a flair player to give us a bit of the razzmatazz, and then hopefully the front three can go and run riot. There you go.
Yeah, I love Curtis though. Okay, and then obviously up front we had Kade Gordon, Bobby, and Minamino.
Takumi Minamino. Well, look at the beard. He looks like he's been on the front of Men's Biking Weekly with his new beard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. With his handlebars, he's gone back home in pre-season and he said, I'm used to the Premier League hustle and bustle. I'm here now and I'm a man. He's looked good. I like Takumi Minamino. I want him to do well. I really like the way he plays. I like him as a person. He's very, very calm and quiet, and you just want him to do well. Did well at Southampton. I think he's, 7 million. Man United, and here's a fact. We're about to shell out £23.5 million if it wasn't for Michael Edwards and his contacts within that Rasenballsport, Leipzig and Salzburg bubble that we've got that connection with. We then obviously learned of the release clause and got him for that just over 7 million. He was very good. Missed an easy chance. If I'm honest with you, at the beginning you'd expect him to score it, and then did he score the second one from a bit of a deflection, almost a carbon copy, if you like, of the one he missed. But again, he looked good.
He's putting that pressure on. He's constantly putting the defenders under pressure. They start panicking, making mistakes, and that's when we capitalize on it. You know, again, they made an error. It's deflection, but we're putting the pressure on them all game. He was up the wing all game, putting that pressure on. I think we forced the error. However, my issue with him is he going to get minutes?
I would think so. I would put him ahead of Origi, and I would put him
play him as striker.
After Jota would be Minamino. Minamino is very clever. You can play, you could play him even in the attacking midfield role, and you could play him on the right, on the left, or up front. I'd keep him in and around the squad, and maybe this is the reason we haven't gone out and signed another player. We've got Minamino, we've got Harvey Elliott, we've got Jota, Mane, Firmino,
we needed
Salah.
A strong bench. Our bench definitely looks stronger now, and you can see that from these two matches. The squad was split up.
Yeah.
With first team players and bench players. Both games they played high energy, phenomenal. Just the way Liverpool play.
It looked normal again, didn't it? It looked like we were, as I said earlier, 12, 16 months ago. It was like it was back to normal. That's why I come away, especially the Sunday game. I took more from the Sunday game, if I'm honest. And watching us play, there'll be other teams out there. They'll go, it's just pre-season against Athletic Bilbao. Well, if you know your football, if you really know your football, they turn up. They're well drilled. They're difficult to beat. They're a good top 6-7 Spanish team. They're a good team. They're a good team. They're, I'd say probably on a par with Tottenham in our country. They're a good team, a good, strong, solid team.
I think they came out. They came out wanting to win. I think that was our hardest test this pre-season. I think that
absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about that. And I thought, we were well worth the performance. I thought Bobby was good. He wouldn't get that time in the Premier League to take it down on his chest, though, against the Osasuna on the Monday. It was a great, wonderful, beautiful finish. But would he have had that time?
Well, maybe some teams, I don't know. Either way, the cross from Minamino, the touch, even just the thought to do that. He's got skills for days, hasn't he? We know what he does. We know his role. He's got 2 goals in the game. He's stamped this is my spot. This is what I can do.
We'll get 6 goals in 50 games and we'll love him.
Yeah, I think, our defense is going to be strong. Midfield, we have different options. So I think maybe this season he will get his 6 little goals or whatever. But we know his role. He knows his role. Klopp
very
loves
important
him.
Part of the spine. Again, Alisson, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Firmino. That's the spine. I think it's really, really important.
Those that know,
Yeah, if you know, you know.
You know. Okay. So. Last 2 players I'm going to talk about is Ox and Gordon. Let's talk about Ox first. We've touched on him anyway. Klopp's been training him as a false 9. I don't think he's quite there. He's going to have,
Yeah, Ox was. I think he's just fit. If he's fit, if Oxlade-Chamberlain's fit, and he plays week in, week out, he starts for me. No doubt, I would put him in. I wouldn't have an issue. A lot of people are 50-50 on him. It's like Marmite Oxlade-Chamberlain. I disagree with a lot of people.
No, I quite liked him on the wing midfield.
I'll play him anywhere. I'll play him central midfield like he did against Roma on that run to the Champions League final. He played central midfield for us, and I thought he was excellent, driving from the heart of midfield with pace and energy and enthusiasm, long-range goals, great tiki-taki football. It's just the age-old issue of injuries again, and they're linking him with the move away.
We can't rely.
He got linked with Southampton this week, Gems. He got linked with Southampton this week. All right, we'll find 35 million. You can have him.
The rumors this transfer window have been crazy. The transfers this transfer window have been crazy. I don't like rumors. I try not to follow rumors. However, I think a lot of people forget before he was injured how much he was bringing to the team. When he scores, it's long range, it's outside the box, which is kind of what we need. This is what he's promised he's going to try and bring. He's been criticised for trying too hard. I mean, that's not a necessarily bad thing. No,
yeah, he gives everything.
Yeah,
Look at Bruno Fernandes. Would Bruno Fernandes be working as hard as Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in pre-season? I don't think so.
No.
I do not think so. And I'll be proved right about Bruno Fernandes. The next show I do with you, just for this, the guy that was on earlier, you know, and to stay involved with the banter and that, I'm not letting it go. You know, from the very first show I ever did with you, I called him out. I said he spends more time in the air than a deck chair in a hurricane. Okay,
this is what I've said.
I'm telling you now, out, you know, out the area, nothing. I would have Oxlade-Chamberlain over him, a fit Oxlade-Chamberlain over a fit Bruno Fernandes every day of the week.
Yeah. The last 8 games of the season, he didn't provide much. Anyway, let's move on to. I love this kid, Kade Gordon.
Yeah, good player. Another young one.
A little bit of composure in the end. He's 16.
I think, look, for me, he's had a very, very, very good pre-season. I think it's gone Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, and it looks to be him or the Polish kid that no one's talking about as well in our youth system. We need to obviously.
He was injured, wasn't he? That's why he's not involved as much. But
Kumatio, they're the 5. They're the 5 players for us. But no, Kade Gordon looks exciting.
He plays just like Mane for me.
Yeah, he does. He just drives, doesn't he? Drives.
Constantly. He pressures the goalkeeper, the defense. He nearly scored a few times. I think when he nearly scored, he just that bit of composure at the end. He was offside, but he didn't know that. I absolutely love him. He's very mature for his age.
Yes, that's one thing that comes across in spades. If it was down to it, you know, if you know what, if we had to start him for a Premier League game and it was the end of the world sort of stuff, I'd go with him. I'd go with him.
Yeah,
he's a good player.
So excited that he was starting yesterday's game. That was the one I was the most excited about yesterday. I'm a huge fan.
Well, Jude Bellingham's only 18 months older than him, so you know, as far as I'm concerned, if you're old enough, you're good enough. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, facts are facts. Facts are facts.
I love him, and he's got the best coach in the world to get him involved, doesn't he? I think he might get some minutes, but he's just going to benefit from being around. I don't think he'll necessarily be brought to the bench often. He'll be playing the unders game, but another guy. So when Robertson went off. Unexpected, Owen Beck. I spoke about
you know what? He looked good. I thought, who is that? As he cut in from the left and back out to whip it in the second half. I thought it was Nico Williams at first. I thought, what's gone on to him? Is he took some performance enhancing mineral supplements? But no, he hasn't. Beck's good. I'll tell you what would really upset the apple cart is if he starts Beck ahead of Shimikas, you know, so it is what it is. It is what it is. He's a good player.
Is he versatile enough to, you know, even go if we needed as Trent's replacement?
No, I don't know if he's 2-footed. I'll have to do a bit of digging on that for you, Gems. But for me, he looked great at left back.
Ian Rush's nephew is in his blood. He again has a natural ability. Yep. His passes, some of his passes to Mane were so, you know, the weight of the pass, silky. He likes to attack.
Robertson 2.0, wasn't it? He was a little left back. I was like, wow, good, strong energy, good player.
Very impressed with him. Very impressed. And 19 yesterday.
Well, there you go. You know, but then again, is he a late bloomer really? When you look at Jones and you look at Elliott and you look at Gordon, you know, and younger players coming through, for instance. You look, if he's good enough, just give him a go.
At one point, Clarkson came on with Thiago, didn't he?
He looked good. Number 50 in the middle. He looked.
Who would have thought these two, Thiago and Clarkson, were bossing midfield?
Well, Clarkson was almost upstaging Jeremy in the driving seat. I thought he was outstanding. He was very good. A little shot just gone wide from distance. Herbie Kane came on as well. He was okay. He was okay. But the kid in the middle was better. He demanded the ball, controlled the ball, looked strong, composed. But again, let's bring it all the way back. It's a pre-season friendly with 20 minutes to go at home to Osasuna. I could have played for 10 minutes.
It was just lovely for them all. They all got minutes throughout this whole pre-season, and they got to play with the first team, not just as a bunch of youth players and bench players. I think that's really made a difference for them. That whole 4-week pre-season camp, I think it's probably done wonders for them just to be around in the atmosphere. They've got to play at Anfield, fans in there. They must have loved that experience. It did make me laugh after the match, and they said about Clarkson, and Klopp said, well, he's only 5'6", so he can't really do much in the air, but he's great on the with his feet on the floor, which is true.
He's good. I think he's spot on.
He's very, very small, but center of gravity is a bit lower with that. All right, so let's finish up on this now then. So this is what I wanted to ask you as well. Looking at all of this, we've already kind of touched on it. What do you see our first team being?
Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he goes Matip. I think he'll bite the bullet and go Van Dijk. I think he then goes Tsimikas into the midfield. Fabinho will hold for us. He will then go with Keita, and he will go with Milner. I will then go on the right, Salah. Up front, it might go Jota, instead of Firmino. It might go Jota. I don't know. I don't know the striker between Jota and Firmino. There's two positions, isn't there? It's the central midfield spare and the striker spare with Mane on the left. For me, a very difficult game. You look, Liverpool fans of past would have said, yeah, I'll be quite happy with an opening day draw away at Carrow Road. Well, let me tell you this, Man City won't be happy with a draw there. So we need to be going there and winning comfortably.
I'm gonna win. So this is how I see it. I mean, I don't think a lot of people agree. So obviously Alisson, he picks himself. Trent and Tsimikas don't have any other options there. Centre backs, I think he's going to start with Matip and Virgil, but I think Virgil will come off and he will put Kanate on.
Yeah.
Fabinho. Midfield, I think we're going to have Keita and Jota. With
okay.
Salah, Bobby and Mane. I really do think that's how we're going to start. It's happened before. I think they all look like they're competing for that spot. So that's my thoughts.
All will be revealed.
Let's see. All right, we're just gonna finish off with the last few comments we've got. Stuck with us the whole stream. Thank you, the blonde guy from that one time. Our squad depth might not be sexy to look at, but it had the second highest goal involvement of the bench last season, and that's why I think Klopp is trusting them going into this year. But our bench has improved because we've got Elliot, Tsimikas back. Not Tsimikas back, but he's had a long preseason. He's got some minutes in. He's going to get some game time now. Minamino, I think, is already strengthened. Kanate is not looking too bad. We
just need a midfielder. I'll just take a midfielder, and if he doesn't, then actually looking at the squad, it is what it is. Can we afford a player that we need? There's another question.
So Klopp did say he's just because he's happy with the team, it doesn't mean he's not looking at possible transfers.
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
We'll see.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll talk about that on another show. Because when fit, we have the best starting thing in the league, I feel. Maybe. And then Mr. B, still talking about Bruno.
I knew he'd bite. I've got your back, buddy. That's 1-1. You can put the fishing hooks out. You can cast the nets out to sea. But remember, you're dealing with me. It's as simple as that.
Right. Finishing up then. I'm happy. Great preseason. Love seeing the young talent. Love seeing our injured players getting some minutes in. Roll on Norwich. Can't wait. Right. Thanks, guys. Like, share, subscribe. We'll be back Thursday at 9:30 with Cop Talk TV, where we're going to talk about transfers, maybe, and looking ahead to our game versus Norwich. So thanks for watching. James, do you just want to quickly tell us where we can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. If One Touch TV and Mr. B don't want to see me, then you don't have to. But you're invited to, because it's just banter and it's just football. No doubt you've got great clubs and you should be proud of them. TTM Sports available on every major podcasting outlet from Spotify. Just search TTM Sports, where myself and James, we do the TTM Sports Show, speaking to ex-football internationals. referees, anybody really within the sporting realm, even into sports journalism. We also have a YouTube channel. For instance, a video we did is where we visited every Premier League stadium in the country in world record time. That's worth a watch. And that, again, is on TTM Sports. So hopefully see you guys over there. And yeah, great to meet you all. And remember, it's just banter.
And actually, we did, we've got a podcast together coming out, haven't we?
We got a radio show, which has been pre-recorded, obviously, due to COVID, which I'll share with Gems offline. It'll be out later this week, and that is called The State of Play. It's a fully fledged 96.6 Vroom FM sports radio show. We've got Gems on as a guest for this week's show. So again, we can no doubt on the YouTube video, I'll post all the links for Gem to maybe put out in the comments below or whatever in the description where you can come and have a look.
Quite proud to be your first female guest as well.
Absolutely. I think you held your own. I thought you should be proud of your performance. You were really good.
And we drew in the competition.
We
True
did.
or false. You have to watch it to find out what that's all about as well.
Absolutely.
But thank you, James. It's been a great show, and we will be back. Bye.
Thank you.
And you know one thing I do like about him? He'll put his head where other people won't even put their boots.
Yeah.
We want people that are going to be competing for that first team spot,
Exactly.
not another Shaqiri.
The way that this brother plays football, when we were linked, I didn't want to comment because I didn't want to smile.